this is Jenny for Jenny Bee Wraps. And introducing her is that she has started making her own bee wrap using my family's honey, which is, I'm sorry, not my honey, my beeswax. And it's yellow. That's important to know that this is more natural if you use the yellow. So that's something good. And she's so earthy and natural, and I'll let her tell her story.
All right, so I am Las Vegas native, and I've grown up on Cox's honey. And so I wanted to try making beeswax wraps. And I just wanted to do it for myself. So I wanted to stop using as much plastic in our kitchen. I thought, you know what, I want them, and then they were kind of pricey, so I thought, you know, I'll just make them. And then I realized, like, oh, this is fun and I enjoy this. So then it became like, okay, I'm gonna make this for a Christmas present to give to family and friends. And it just kind of has gone on from there.
Kind of blossomed.
Yeah, but I have a whole bag of these in my kitchen that I use.
They're amazing. I actually started using it, I think it was last year that I kept saying, what are you using all my beeswax for? And she told me, and so I bought them, and I actually gave them out for Christmas gifts this year. And it's way easier to pay somebody to make it than make it yourself, although it's easy to make. So.
It is, yes.
What ingredients do we need?
Okay, so 3 ingredients. So your main ingredient, most important ingredient, is beeswax. And like she said, it needs to be real beeswax. If you buy it on Amazon, it's clear. It's very, very processed. You will also need jojoba oil. So this is what you use for hair and nails. And it's mostly non-allergenic. So if you use something like avocado oil, you might find somebody that's allergic. This pretty much almost nobody. And it has antimicrobial properties, which is really good because you're using it on your food.
So does the beeswax,
So does the
anti-inflammatory
beeswax.
and antibiotic.
And then you use pine rosin. So not pine resin, pine rosin. So it has all the chemicals cooked out of it, and it comes in chunks like this. This is from Amazon Camp Ben rosin, and this one is actually FDA approved for food use. So you want to make sure that you're using something that is food grade. And then I take it and you make it into powder. So sometimes you can buy it as powder, or you have to grind it up yourself. The last important ingredient is you're going to use 100% cotton. So you can use fat quarters, or you can buy it on a bolt. And you need to wash it and iron it. So 100% cotton. This is like if you walk into the quilting section of Joann's or Hobby Lobby, you'll find the 100% cotton.
See the cute little bees on there. See grandkids? And pinking shears.
And pinking shears. So yes, let me find an example. So these are ones that I've cut. You cut them into squares, rectangles, circles, whatever size you want, and you use the pinking shears to prevent it from fraying. So you don't have to do that, but it does give it a nice little edge, and then you know that the fabric is going to withhold use. Your wrap should last 6 months to a year, even more if you take really good care of them.
And you just wash it off, right?
Yeah, so cold water. You don't use it with anything that you're going to want to disinfect, so no raw meat. And you just rinse with cool water. If there is something stuck on there, you can use like a mild soap. Dawn soap's kind of hard because it gets the grease out real well.
Yeah.
So something really mild, but I almost always just rinse mine with cold water.
Good to know. And you have parchment paper here ready to go.
Yeah, so here's my jelly roll pan and my parchment paper. And this is what you use to line the jelly roll pan. This keeps your pan nice and clean, and it also, you can peel it right off while it's still hot, and you'll have a really nice finished wrap.
Okay, so you've prepped the fabric, cut that in squares, and now you're going to do the wax mixture, right?
Yes.
For step 2. All right.
Okay, so I have my three ingredients. I'm going to put them into a bowl that I can set on a double boiler. So a pot of water, which we have an example going over there.
Hillbilly style.
Yeah, boiling water, and set the bowl. It can be glass bowl. You kind of want to dedicate some things to your beeswax wraps because it is hard to clean up. It's not just like your regular dishes.
Beeswax is very hard.
Correct.
It's a harder wax.
So let me grab. I've got some chunks of beeswax here, so that's exactly what this is.
And how much oil do you put in there?
You don't need a whole lot. So recipes varies to a couple of drops,
Okay.
all the way to when I make a whole batch, which does several wraps, like a batch of wraps.
Okay.
It's up to 4 teaspoons. So the more you use, the more pliable and flexible flexible it'll be. And then the less you use, the more stiff it'll be.
So about 2 to 4 drops. How much of the pine rosin?
So you're gonna do almost half and half. So almost half and half.
Half and half. So whatever
I
you
do, yeah, I do, like I said, it varies. The pine rosin is what gives it the stickiness. So when you fold it over, so if I want to just fold it over this bowl,
It'll cling to it.
it'll
right?
cling to it. Regular beeswax wraps that are just beeswax and oil, they won't cling. You need to use a rubber band or some twine. And this is what makes it flexible. So when I do a batch, I do almost about two ounces of each, and I use 4 teaspoons of jojoba oil. I do use, personally, I just use a little more wax than I do pine rosin. This is really good for your hands, so I don't waste any. So I just take it and then I just, so don't waste any. This is really, really good stuff. And I use organic, so that you can use it around the house for other things too.
So we're gonna melt it next. Right?
Yes.
You got it. All melted, I think.
All right, we're ready. So I'm gonna take my first square. You can do any size. I do squares, and it's been etched. And just make sure you got any little
Fray off.
any little fray off from cutting there. I'm gonna place it right on my parchment. You wanna make sure your parchment is bigger than your piece of fabric.
Note taken.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we got those hot pads. You can see it's a really, I don't know if you can see, but it's a really, really beautiful golden color. So when you buy your fabric, you wanna keep that in mind. So you can buy white fabric, this is white fabric. But you just have to keep in mind that it is going to be this beautiful color. So I'm gonna kinda do this. And I'm actually just going to paint it on.
Like you're painting. No,
Just
very
like
good.
I'm painting. And you have to dedicate a brush. This is the only brush. This brush will never be
Touch
used
anything
for
else?
anything else again. Yes,
Oh, it smells so
It does.
good.
it does. I have a lot of people that when they come shop, like my vendor booth, they'll
Smell it.
smell
yeah.
them. Yeah,
Feels like home to me.
yeah.
So you brush it on, and then
Mhm.
you're going to put it in the oven at 225 degrees.
Yeah,
correct?
so when you brush it on, it doesn't get on perfectly even. It's really hard to get it perfectly even. And you wanna make sure you get the edges and you don't have any spots where you have too much or a little too little. So putting it in the oven at 225 degrees for at least 5 minutes. You don't have to stretch, you can leave it in there for longer. Just warms it up and it melts it again, and it evens it out. And if you don't like it, you can just put it back in the oven again. So sometimes when I do the
nice.
bigger wraps that are like loaf size, like 12 by 18, I have to do it several times because I
Alright.
pick them up and I'm just not happy with one spot. So you can just
You do
keep putting
both
them in and out.
sides or just one side?
No, so just one side.
Okay.
And when you put it in the oven, so it has it, you can see it's only partially soaked through. So when you put it in the oven, it will soak all the way.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Our timer has gone on, so we're gonna pull it out. And this is the part where you do want, I set this on.
Yeah.
Where you do want to work a little bit. So I keep my double boiler going. So you want a nice wet brush. And so what I do, it's warm, but it's not real hot. I just kind of, as I pick it off, kind of brush it. And you just lift it right off.
Oh, it did soak through. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so I have a little few spots on this one I think I might want to go back, but sometimes just brushing it after here. And then I just kind of give it a few shakes in the air. And you can feel that it's drying. And you want to check all your edges. Sometimes the edges, it doesn't quite, move all the way to the edge. So there's a few spots I might go back, like here's a little bit of a dry edge. You can see the lighter color, it's not the same golden color. But overall, this would be a really good wrap to use. And that's it, it's already dry.
It's already dry.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
right.
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
That's
so if I
amazing.
had my half an onion or apple or whatever, I could just go right in. And it'll stick to itself, and it'll stick to the product. It seals it right up.
And it keeps the smell out. Because I did the onion. This is the
Yes.
first thing I tried. It was like, my fridge
Yeah.
didn't smell like onion at all. It was amazing.
Yeah, so on my instructions, I do say not to use it on onions because I feel like
Oh.
if somebody does use it on something smelling, then unhappy,
Oh,
but
okay.
I used mine on onions followed by apples, and I've never had a problem.
Okay.
So, but it was just kind of.
I wrapped
cautious.
apples and took it to work actually. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah, well, these are
amazing.
neat because I mean you can use them for anything. So, you know, half an apple, half of banana, whatever it is.
Sandwich,
Sandwich, yeah. You can kind of origami it, so you can.
salads.
And my daughter
Think
loves
of everything.
origami, but I'm just kind of folding it.
Like
And you
an
can make a
envelope.
little envelope, and you can make a little kind of mini
cute.
snack thing that fits in a kid's snack cup in their, their
Oh,
car
that's
seat or
really
something.
clever. Okay.
I'll fold up baby carrots in there, and Hazel knows not to throw them away. So crackers. Just about
It's
everything,
endless,
yeah.
it's
So if you
endless.
want to make, wrap a sandwich, it does need to be bigger. So this would be really good for wrapping up your fruits and vegetables, putting on top of a cup. I don't know, sometimes we use like a half a can of condensed milk.
Oh.
And then you don't want it spilling all
That's
over.
right.
I don't want to use a little tiny piece of saran wrap that I'm just going to throw away. So I use these now for those kind of things.
That's good to
So
know because I do
this-
that all the time too.
Yeah, and this is an 8x8, so just for size reference, this is an 8x8. This would be like a really good sandwich size. This is a 12x12. So 10x10 or 12x12.
Well, I have actually Jenny's wraps on my website. So if you'd like to order some of those or come by the Henderson Hive Live and you can pick one up. Very reasonable price, worth it to have somebody else make it as talented as she is. She has a beautiful garden too, by the way. Grandkids, did you find the bee? Well, we had several bees on our little thing, but I also wore a bee, right? Someone that my husband gave me. I want you to have a sweet day. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and share it with other people. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and also this recipe will be on Pinterest, and it will be below. If you look below, we'll put it down there. And if you have any questions, let me know. Have a sweet day. Thanks, Jenny.
Yes. All right, so when you are done, you won't have this much left in your bowl, but you are gonna have residue on anything that has touched the beeswax, or if you got any on your jelly roll pan. So the secret to cleaning is a couple of different steps. I like to use a scraper. This is like a log cabin. This one's Pampered Chef, and you can scrape your excess. You don't want to waste any of this. You can use it for your next batch, so don't waste any of your mixture. And then you can use plain old oil, so any sort of kitchen oil, avocado oil, I'm trying to think, vegetable oil, any of those, olive oil, whatever you have on hand. And I would soak it in hot soapy water, pull it out, and you're gonna just use some of that oil to help break it up. So like dissolves like, if you're taking any chemistry classes. If you still cannot get your stuff clean, sometimes I do have to bust out the mineral spirits. Make sure you wear some gloves, garage quality, chemical quality gloves, and that's how you finish cleaning it. That's why I suggest dedicating anything that you're gonna use to this purpose. Then you don't have to worry about using chemicals to clean it. You're just gonna be using it for the same purpose.